we also have the propensity to resent ourselves. So these are the things that we're going to be discussing and talking about throughout this month. And I'm just happy that I'm a guest tonight. Appreciate y'all having me.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah. How you be a guest at your own church? Okay, anyway, I'm a guest, y'all. All right? So let's dive into this. Confronting me. Confronting ourselves is one of the most difficult things that we can do. It's necessary, but it's still difficult. It's very difficult for a lot of people to confront themselves, or sometimes it's difficult for us to have to confront. Because again, we don't like to believe some of the things about ourselves. Mm-hmm. Right? Yes. We will all like to believe that we're wonderful. Like we're just magnificent. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. We're magnificent. We are wonderful. We're, magnanimous. Mm-hmm. However, certain things in life that happen, life presents itself in a way to where we have to confront ourselves. And a lot of times, things that we've gone through in our childhood, adolescent stage, adulthood, we don't confront those things, and yet here we are, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and we still have these issues that have gone unattended. Mm-hmm. So we spend a lot of time avoiding ourselves, hurting ourselves, and resenting ourselves for avoiding ourselves and hurting ourselves, right? So now we can resent our own self from avoiding ourselves and hurting ourselves. Why? Hurting ourselves because we won't confront ourselves, right? And I believe a lot of times we don't confront ourselves because it could be quite possible that we blame ourselves for a lot of things that we didn't even do to ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And then, and I'm talking the simple things that a lot of people yet still struggle with. Mm-hmm. In the body of Christ, outside of the body of Christ, we still, have those issues that we are just afraid to confront, right? And, and then you throw in fear, the fear of confronting myself, the fear of, because I believe that's where it needs to start, getting over that fear of confronting myself, right? These issues that I have, these issues that keep me kind of caged in, keep me reserved, keep me introverted, keep me from not dealing with certain people, keep me afraid and locked in, because of the experiences that we had coming up, or the experiences that we may have had, like I said again, in our adolescent stage, or in our, that kind of grows up with us, right? Confronting me, to me, or for me, confronting me means, and this is me personally, right? Confronting me, for me, means accepting accepting my shortcomings, accepting the fact that I'm not perfect, accepting the fact that I'm human, and I'm subject to mistakes, but also not holding myself hostage to those things, right? And I think for some people to confront yourself it could be a trigger to where I feel like I'm a failure, right? But not realizing that just being honest is a start to healing.
I say that's the first step.
Right? Being honest is a first step to confronting yourself, and now dealing with those fears and dealing with those things in our life that we never dealt with. Right? It's hard for some people to trust. Right? Where did that come from? Right? In order to understand or figure out where that came from, you have to confront yourself. Right? We can't deal with these issues or have these issues and ignore these issues, right? Because again, like Chris, I didn't grow up with Chris, right? But it's something about me that Chris don't like. Bro, what I do to you? I don't know, it's just something about him all life. Dude, where did that come from? Right? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. Where did this come from?
Yeah, that's good.
Right? Being in ministry for a long time, sitting down talking to people, and I tell them, listen, this is not a situation where I talk and you listen. No, you're going to talk back to me. And I'm not pulling on the Holy Ghost either. No, you're going to talk. I wasn't there. Right? So you're not going to hold me hostage for what somebody else didn't allow you to do. Right? No, we're going to have a conversation. Hello, my name is Robert. What's your name? Right? Because whatever happened, there's some trauma there that make people afraid to talk. And then you have to let them know it's okay.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to harm you. Like you're 50, it's okay. Right? But that's traumatizing to some people. Right? To be able to just freely open up and express themselves without feeling like they're going to be judged or get in trouble for it, right? You guys don't like definitions, right? So, I had to look up confrontation. I'm sorry. It's a hostile or argumentative meeting or situation between opposing parties, right? So now the question, Dr. Christopher Adair, what's opposing you? That's rhetorical. That's true, right? What's opposing you? Because we have to get to the genesis or the nexus of thing, right? So now we have to find out, okay, what's opposing me? What is opposing me or stopping me? Because when you look at the word opposition, that means there's some resistance, right? Let's throw out there trust. Right? Let's confront trust tonight. Let's confront fear tonight. Right? We're just throwing some things out there. But Chris, if we was to say, okay, we'll use trust tonight, what would be the opposition or what's stopping you from trusting? And I'm not saying you got trust issues, but this we're just exploring, right? So hypothetically, you have trust issues, right? Now, how do we confront that, right? What's opposing you from trusting, right? These are things that we have to. Where's this fear coming from, right? So now, is it really confronting me? Or confronting the issue that I carry? I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just.
Yeah, because the issue can go farther than the person. When you do your sermons and you speak in church, you say, if I say I have anger problems,
Yeah.
and I get up and leave, I'm not fixing the issue because I'm taking my anger to the next level instead of confronting it right there.
Okay.
So that's how I look at it.
You carry it on and on.
Yeah.
If you don't confront it in the beginning.
So, okay, you use church. Okay, so if the word is coming across, right? And something is said that triggers. You walk up, you get up, and you walk away because instead of you sitting there
and letting it
finish,
the work wasn't done.
Right.
It was a trigger, but you didn't let the work get done.
Yeah. You didn't. You as soon as you heard that that trigger part, you get up and like you didn't see the ending point. You didn't see the solution. How you can help how it can help you out.
So in other words, you got on the table. The doctor started the operation, but you decided to get up in the middle of the surgery.
Yeah, and keep bleeding.
Yep.
And now you walking
You won't
around.
bleed out.
You walking around with this hole in you.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
This cut, and you all over shot right bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, but believe it or not, that's what a lot of people in church do.
Yeah.
You know.
A lot of people who come to church.
Oh, so you want to talk about the church?
Oh no.
But a lot of
No.
people.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
No. I'm not talking about the churches, but if
No, so you want to talk about church?
No.
No, I honestly, that's a good place to start. You know why?
And the reason I say that,
And I know why you say it, but go ahead.
all right, the reason I say that is because a lot of people, some people say they don't come to church because of what the pastors talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they're doing in the world, they don't want to be taught that it's wrong. They want to be grown up.
They don't want to address.
They don't. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So as soon as the pastor say, you know, you shouldn't be drinking, they get up and walk because they're drinking right now. You know, they want to.
Right. Well, you shouldn't get mad because it can cause liver damage. You don't need a pastor to tell you that.
I know that.
Right?
That. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But okay, let's in the church is a good place to start. Why I say that is because the church is a good place to hide. Right? The church is a good place to cover, mask, avoid, run. Right? It's a good place because we have these issues, and because we are in church, there's a misconception that automatically, like, I'm just or presumed to be okay. So I have to have this mask on that presents itself all the time, that I don't have any flaws, right? I don't make any mistakes, right? I have these issues that I've been dealing with for God knows how long, right? And never confronted those issues, right? Now, here's the thing. Let's start with being honest again. Because I believe the root or the course to confronting these issues is honesty. Right? Without feeling like you're the only one in the world with this issue.
Yep.
Man, come on, so there's over 6 billion people on the planet. Like, you mean to tell me you're the only one on planet Earth with this issue?
Yeah, but some people don't want to hear that. They want to sulk in their own misery because they don't want to fix the problem themselves. You know, and coming to church every Sunday, I know I'm not the only person with problems. You know, I can sit up and say I know, but some people in there, you can try to talk to them about their problems, but they swear up and down that we don't know what they're going through.
Or what about the ones that act like they don't have issues, but don't testify about them, don't speak about them? They'll speak to certain people about it, but they won't outright put it out there. You know, because the moment you put it out there, the healing process starts.
Yeah, so with that, Chris, if you say to me, you good, then why are you avoiding me? You say to me, you good, but you don't talk to me, you don't speak to me, you avoid me, right? Your actions should line up with what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you're saying you good, then okay, why are you holding other people hostage, and they haven't done anything to you, right? We don't, and again, if you're gonna, you can't pick and choose what you want to follow in the word, right?
Yeah.
Now for us, it's a different standard for us. Now folks in the world of its own, they're going to have their own perception and mindset about, because they're going to come up with a whole lot of things, right? But for us in the church, right? Now we have the Word of God. Every problem that we can ever experience is in that Word, right? So the problem is, if you don't pick the Word up and read the Word, right, and do what the Word say do, then when you're confronted or asked, hey, why are you avoiding me? Oh, I'm not avoiding you. Yeah, you're avoiding me. Like I say hi to you, nothing, no response. I say hello, no response. Like, you see me coming, you walk away, right? You go the other direction. So what is that? Like, so what are you gonna lie and say, oh, it's nothing? Like, come on, man.
It's
like,
something.
It's something.
Yeah, it's something.
Right?
Yeah.
It's something.
I think some people that do that, in my opinion, some people, they go the opposite way because they know they're supposed to be doing right, but they just choose not to. And I have friends, that told me personally that they feel guilty of, since I'm, coming to church and they're still drinking and do whatever. They feel as though that they're not on my level, but like they want to do better, but they just choose otherwise.
Well, here's the thing. Now, this is for us now,
Yeah.
right? For us to know to do good or to know to do right and don't do it is sin. For them, I would say they want to and don't know how, right?
Okay.
They don't know how. Because if they knew how, they would do it,
Do it, yeah.
right? So there is something there that stop, and chances are they want to, but how?
Where do you start?
Where do I start? How do I do this thing, right? And that's why I said now this is us over here, and this is the world over there.
Yeah.
Now for us over here, who have the total package, who have the Word of God, right? Hey, listen, okay, if you got a problem, what the scriptures say, let us reason together, right? Okay, and then you let's throw grace in the mix, let's throw mercy in the mix, right? Let's and we don't want none of that. No, what do you mean? No. Because again, it's easy to hold somebody else hostage for their flaws without holding yourself accountable.
Yeah, I think back to what you said earlier about confronting yourself.
Yeah.
I think some people, they have a special image, I want to say, like that they hold, that they want the world to see.
Okay.
So if they had to confront themselves, the world would be seen to their flaws. So they want to make it seem like they don't have any flaws. So that's why they keep walking and they don't want to confront themselves, because once they confront themselves, they're gonna look imperfect to the world.
Yeah. And I think that's another issue too, because some people feel like they're not good enough, right? Well, who told you that, right? That's an internal.
That's where you start hurting yourself.
That's
right.
right.
I was waiting to say yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's where hurt come from.
Right.
When you don't. I'm sorry. When you don't confront yourself, you start thinking about depression. You thought, just like you said, you don't think you're good enough. You don't think you can matter.
Or what somebody said about you.
Exactly. You thought, think about the past. Everything start coming up. And that's where anxiety builds up. That's when suicidal thoughts come in. That's where drinking.
In there.
And that's where everything else comes in.
Because I didn't think I was good enough. That came from not confronting what my dad said, what my mom said, what other people said, and getting here, even though you saying it to me, pastor saying it to me, other people saying it to me, I didn't confront it, that what they said wasn't true.
Now, here's the thing. Here's something that we can think about, right? It's so easy to believe a lie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what people do. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so easy to believe a lie until the lie becomes truth.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, you believe a bad rumor about somebody before you actually know.
So your mother or your father saying, you never be this, you never be that, you never be this, you never be that, right? So that lie is truth to them,
but it
because
became my reality.
It became your reality, because quite possibly that lie was told to them, they believed it, it became a manifestation. So now that same manifestation, I'm going to interject or speak over you that you're going to be just like your dad. You're going to be like this one. You're going to be like your uncle. You're going to be like this person. You're going to be like that person, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's just one person's opinion.
Yeah.
The question now is, okay, do I believe that? Well, until you come to a place of maturity and understanding, because if you hear a thing long enough, it gets in your spirit, and then, okay, well, maybe they are telling the truth. Maybe they are right. Maybe I won't be this, or maybe I
won't.
You know. So now that begins to filter through, right? And now it's like, and now you get into that comfortable place of settling within the parameters of what everybody said, right? So now you're in this comfortable place, and you never deal with what was said to you.
But sometimes, even if you don't, I call you an example, because even though you didn't deal with it, you sitting right here is proof that you didn't let it dwell in your life, you know. And I constantly say that you know, if you never told me, if I never knew anything about that, I would never know it, because, you know, if it was a lie, you know, you wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't be here at this round table talk with Apostle right now, you know. But it's like sometimes when you hear a lie, like me personally, nobody ever told me I wasn't about anything. I had that in my mind because I always think I'm not good enough. I still to this day, you know, I don't know why. Sister Nasia pushes me to my furthest extent, but sometimes it's always that, like, something inside me, like, you know what, you're not good enough to do that right now. You know, I didn't think I was good enough to be a deacon and trainer. I didn't think I was good enough to be an usher. You know, just gotta let my past and everything I used to do. Yes, but God will put people inside you in your life to manifest you, to take them lies and just toss them. You know, and that's what he did for me. So I could definitely say, when you said the lie becomes the truth, that can go two ways. So if I tell you that you're going to be nothing and you really don't amount to anything, you just sit around and do anything, then that lie became your truth. But if you take that lie and you started dwelling and you start manifesting it into something else, into your life, and you use it for good and to motivate other people, even if you motivate people, that still do something, because you could push other people not to believe the lies. So that goes to the other. I call that the other way.
Now, it's interesting, because if I say to you, right, if I call you a mighty man of God, you can say to me, like, who you talking to? Like, he's lying. Ain't nobody's a mighty man of God.
Who you talking to?
Why not? Right? Why not? It's something you said that was interesting, because our past can hold us hostage as well, right? And honestly, one of the greatest weapons that the enemy uses is our past. Right?
You put something right back in your face from the
Yeah.
past.
Right? So now, if that be the case, Chris, as far as church is concerned, hey, none of us have no business being here. Right?
No.
If we were judged because of our past, like, this church should be on fire right now. The minute I walked in, it should just caught on fire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes.
But thank God that God looks beyond our past, right? The devil is always searching in our past. God don't dwell in our past. The enemy is always lurking in our past, right? But to confront our issues, and I don't care what it is, from relationships, you know, we can hurt ourselves, and, you know, especially when it comes down to relationships, right? We can hurt ourselves in relationships. How? Because we can lose ourselves, right? We can lose ourselves, right? And in losing ourselves, we can hurt ourselves, because now it's like, okay, now it goes back to, who am I? Right? Who am I? Right? If I never confront who I am and what I am and what I believe about myself, right, then in any relationship we can hurt ourselves, because, you know, if he or she say, okay, I don't want you anymore, now it's like, oh my God, my life is over now. What? Excuse me? No, your life is not over.
Or if you think you can't get anyone else. Because people put that in your head. When you've been with someone so long,
yeah.
they oh, ain't nobody else gonna want you. I'll never forget. Remember Sport About, the sneaker store in Anderson?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The lady that owned it.
Mm-hmm.
I was walking one day and I had Shakira, Kiki was a baby, and I think I had Shauna too. And she said to me, what you gonna do with your life? You need to be like your sister. Look at her. She married and everything. You out here with 2 kids. And that man don't even want you. Now, I took that
Mm-hmm.
and I harbored that because she wasn't the first person who said that to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you got these people saying these things over and over and over and over again. You know, like Chris, I didn't show it, but I sat in it. I sat in it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Until one day I was literally sitting on the tub and I heard God say to me, I can't give you anything until you let that go. You're holding on to something that you have no control over.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go. Let it go. And then I can you want a husband? I can hand you a husband, but I can't give you a husband and you take what happened to you in that relationship and carry it into another relationship.
Yeah. A lot of people do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Even not even with just the lies, you know, with
Everything.
cheating,
Mm-hmm.
everything, you know, because you don't want when you get in a relationship, you're supposed to look at the good things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do break up, you're supposed to break up with good terms because when you try to move on, you're gonna think about that last person, and then you're gonna think that what God gave you, the last person's gonna do the same.
Well, the reality, Chris, every relationship don't end that well.
Oh yeah.
Every relationship don't end that well.
Yeah.
Some end real bad, right? But at the end of but once the dust settles, now you got a choice to make,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now the rebuilding starts, right? And I think a lot of times, you know, based on how the relationship was dissolved or separated or whatever, we instinctively begin to internalize, what did I do, right? What did I do?
You're the first person you look at yourself.
Yeah, what did I do, right? Maybe if I did this, maybe if I did that, maybe if I did this right, maybe if I, right? No, it is what it is. Like, because at the end of the day, once they leave or walk out on you, whatever the case might be, now a whole lot of things can happen from that moment on. Trust issues, right? Now you don't trust anybody, right? I never trust another man in my life, right? Now I'm falling in love with another woman, right? I never trust another woman in my life. Now I'm gonna fall in love with another man. Are you kidding me, right?
Yeah.
But that's the dynamics or the shift that takes place after something like a bad breakup or relationship or whatever the case might be, right? But now confronting, because you take a situation like that, not everybody wants to be consoled. Everybody wants to feel comforted, right? So now we're going to find that comfort in this, in that, in him, in her,
Wrong
whatever,
company.
wrong company, right? Because of the hurt,
Yeah.
right? So now,
Or your bitterness.
or your bitterness, right? So now I don't confront the hurt properly, right? I don't confront the hurt properly in the fact that, okay, let me take time out for me. Let me deal with this pain that I'm feeling. Let me deal with this hurt, right? Before I move on into something else, right? Because now I move on to something else with that same hurt, chances are the same thing is going to happen or repeat itself,
Because you go look for the same thing.
right? And now you're going to hold that person hostage for something that had nothing to do with it, right?
Because the hurt's still holding you hostage.
Right. So if that hurt is still holding me hostage, then like
Just wanna get somebody
the
else.
saying is like the saying is true. Hurt people do hurt people,
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
Hurt people do hurt people. I want you to feel my pain.
Yeah.
I want you to feel what I'm going through. Or like you said earlier, don't nobody know what I'm going through. Well, if you tell somebody, maybe they would,
Yeah.
right?
And society makes it easy now because everybody got a platform of hate and some type of bitterness.
Yeah.
Everybody got a platform for bitterness, and they just shooting it out. So they giving the younger generation the tools
Mm-hmm.
not to heal and not to hurt themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but to remain bitter. Because bitter becomes being strong.
Yeah.
But because you're bitter doesn't mean you're strong. It just means you're bitter and you're hurt. And you're
Mhm.
not dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But they're making it look like it's strength.
Yeah.
You know, you strong. Stay that way. Stay hard. You're strong.
Because that's their testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they need
It's not-
somebody.
it's not for
They need a
everybody.
crowd. They need a crowd.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you said earlier about how when you can see somebody and then you never did anything wrong to them.
Mhm.
They just looking at you because they might have like a concept, or they might think of, like, you might say something and then it triggers them from their past
Mhm.
relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
Something
so
about you reminds you of that person.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And the problem with that is they don't confront the problem because they let it, just like you said, that they think they're strong because they don't confront it. And I'm guilty of that because it's not even like negative things. It's just like I recently signed up for therapy. You know, I was talking to a friend and I said I always want to try therapy, but I said I don't really have anything in my life for me to talk about. They said no, you do.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Chris, you lost your mom at a young age. You've been,
Yeah.
you know, you lost, and I didn't think about that as therapy wise. You know, everybody has.
It's funny you say that. Me and my neighbor was talking one day, right?
Mhm.
And it hit me just as we were out there talking, right? And we were talking about coming up and, you know, our younger days and different things like that. And I said, I probably should have gotten counseling when I blew my knee out,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
My whole senior year gone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Basketball gone,
Mm-hmm.
football gone,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 18 years old. I probably should have, and this was a couple months ago, like during the summertime, we were just out talking.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, I think I probably should have got counseling.
Yeah.
And
Because that was a murder to your career.
yeah,
So you're dealing with a death. That was the death of, you know, in a sense, that was the death of your career because that was what you was looking forward to.
I mean, and honestly, it felt like somebody,
Exactly.
it felt like my heart was ripped out of my
Mm-hmm.
chest, right? And that's why now I'm not into football anymore. Like, I don't even have a favorite team.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody get hurt, I can't watch the game no more. Like, it still triggers, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, man, I probably should have gotten counseling when that happened.
Because a lot of people think of death as a person dying, not a career,
Or dream.
not a dream.
Yeah.
They don't think of that. That's a death to someone, especially if you,
Mm.
if it's been in your life and that's
Yeah.
what you're built up for.
Yes.
That's like
Yes.
you know, having a mate and
Yeah.
they leave you
Yeah.
or they die.
Yeah.
You look forward to spending the rest of your life with them.
I
when they're
look
gone,
forward to spending the rest of my life playing
football.
Yeah.
And you didn't get no counseling to
Deal with
the
that.
point where now you can't even watch it, or you don't have a favorite team, or
I don't. I'm just like, I don't care. I can care less,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right? Like, if I'm watching football and Pastor want to watch Lifetime, I ain't going. I'm like, yo, watch Lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, it don't even.
That's a good movie.
But, like, but it literally felt like somebody ripped my heart out,
Yeah.
right? And that was a tough time for me. Like, I had the support of my family, but mentally, like, that was a hard thing to get over, right? So, you know, not confronting that, at that age, how though? Right, 18 years old, like, how do you confront that? So, but I tell you what happened, like, anger drove me in my therapy. Because I was angry, I was mad, right? I was crushed. So anger took over in my therapy, in my workouts. Not that I became a vicious, violent person. Let me back up. I became a vicious, violent person on the court. I was somebody else on the court. Like, I had a whole mentality on the court that said, you gonna remember me. You gonna know my name. after this
You're not
game was
gonna
over.
hurt
With.
me.
You follow what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I became somebody else when I played, right? And that was, and now to turn that switch off was hard. It was really hard. That switch didn't get turned off until I was probably in my 40s, to where I was just okay just playing ball for exercise, right? It didn't matter to me anymore, right? And DeAndre can tell the story best, because when I met him, like, he was this, now he was this angry kid, right?
Yeah.
Trying to kill me. Before that, I was this angry person,
Yeah.
right? And I said, DeAndre, I said, at that point, bro, I was already broken, bro. I said, there was nothing you could have done to me
Done.
that would have made a difference. I was already broken 10 ways to Sunday,
Yeah.
right? I was already broken. So I really didn't get over that until my 40s, right? And now if I'm playing, or if I'm watching a game right now, and Pastor will look at me and be like, you okay? She said, I was like, yeah. She said, you was thinking? I said, yeah, I had a moment, right? Because it still takes me back,
Yeah.
right? But it doesn't affect me the way it did back then, right?
Okay.
So now, and you're talking about hurting me, right? Hurting me or hurting myself as a result of that, right? And now you're talking from 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, right? You talking about drinking, partying, right?
All those years.
All those years trying to numb that pain, right? And that's how I started hurting myself,
Yes.
because I didn't know how to cope with that,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know how to handle that. Seniors, every year senior trip, right? I couldn't go on a senior trip. Like, my whole senior year was gone, right? Gone. So now 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, now I'm just drinking every day, clubbing every day, right? That's how I started hurting myself, because of
That one thing.
that one thing.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Mhm.
All right. Now this is my personal experience. As a kid, I always wanted to try everything, but I let fear get a hold of me.
Okay.
So do you think, as a parent, do you think they can hurt themselves and their children for try to give the children their life that they missed out for themselves?
Well, that's a two-part, because one, as a kid, I can't let you try everything, okay?
Yeah.
No. Our son was a daredevil. No, I can't let you try everything.
Yeah.
However, some parents do hurt their kids by trying to live through them.
Exactly. Okay. That's
Right?
Yeah.
Prime example. Now, I have 3 sons, right? 2 ain't about their life playing sports. They ain't about their life, right? My oldest son, now, I could have tried to live my life through him, because he's good. I mean, he's still good, right? But he's not built like me. You see that?
Yeah.
A lot of times we can hurt our kids by trying to fulfill our life through them and push them into a world of resentment because they hate it. And they don't say anything because I'm trying to please my parents. So I want to please my parents, and they hate it. So they end up doing things like playing sports, playing this and playing that, hate it, but they do it because this is what their parents want them to do. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So and that's good. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of times we can not only hurt this is how we as parents can hurt ourselves. You know how we can hurt ourselves? One, by trying to influence our kids to be like us, right? Put all the demands of our life on them, right? No. For every parent, you want your child to succeed, but let them choose that path of their success and be okay with it.
Yeah, and I actually, I was talking to my daughter about it, and I didn't push, because like I said, I can't push anything on her because I ain't do nothing as a kid.
Right.
You know, so she started laughing when I said that, but what I told her to do is don't make the same mistakes I did. And she said, what you mean? I'm saying, just go for everything. Reach for the stars. If you, if you don't see the stars, go for the moon, go for it. Like, just put everything in one basket and just go for everything. Don't let fear take over. Do not let, and she's trying other things, but it's just.
Now, in that perspective, yeah. Because when you say, you as a parent, we have to cover you.
Yeah.
I just can't let you do everything, Chris. Now, you want to be an astronaut? Yeah. You want to be an astronomer? Yeah. You want to be a musician? Yeah.
I don't support you jumping off buildings.
Yeah, I'm not supporting you jumping off buildings, Chris. No, we're not doing that. Okay.
Yes.
We're not letting you ride a motorcycle with no helmet.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm not letting you stay out till 3 o'clock in the morning. No, Chris, that ain't happening. Not happening. Okay.
I got you.
Yeah. But a lot of times we can end up hurting our kids by putting those demands on them. Now, we gave our kids a foundation by bringing them to church, right? And they hated it. Rightfully so, because we hated going to church. But now that they're older, now they're able to choose their own career path. But that foundation is still there, right? So they know how to pray. Like Breon cracks me up because like, Dad, I had prayer before. I'm like, oh, well, who you pray, boy? And he's like, Dad, I know God for myself. I'm like, okay. That's our thing we do, right? But they know how to pray because of that foundation, right? They know how to pray because of the word that they got, right? So because we knew at a certain age, at some point in time, they're gonna live their own life, right? But so now it's our job as parents now to be supportive of their career path and try to help guide them and help facilitate, that career path, right? That's it. But here's the other thing too. What can hurt? Not confronting ourselves to the degree of, okay, Chris, you're my dad, right? And I'm your son. Here's the thing. Now, here's the thing without confronting me, right? You see certain things about your parents that you just don't like. But then you see yourself doing the same thing, and it's like, whoa, time out here. Time out. And then when you ask your parents about it, they get offended. What you asking me that for? Because I noticed that I have some of the same tendencies. Mom, Dad, like, where did that come from? Ain't nothing wrong with me. What do you know what? Yeah, there is something wrong with you because you don't even want to have a conversation about it. So that lets me know there is something wrong there. So you know what? Okay, not going to get any help here. Let me go get some help because I don't want to be like what I'm seeing in front of me.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then if I don't confront me, it's going to take me a lifetime to get out of that or to get away from that. Right? No. No. Have that conversation. Don't be in denial because that's what it is. Like, no, Mom, like, why do you, because I find myself doing the same thing. I find myself not wanting to talk to people. I find myself afraid of this and afraid of that. I find myself withdrawn. I find myself, where did it come from? Right? So, okay, now you do the smart thing and trace the source. You go back to the source of your parents. Now your parents don't want to have that conversation because they're in denial about their own self, right? If they don't want to confront themselves, they're not going to help you confront yourself, right? So now it's like, okay, wait a minute now. Time out. there is something wrong with you because you don't even want to have this conversation, right? You want to go straight to the word. Please, let's not go straight to the word, because now I got another question. Why ain't you doing the word then?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Right? Don't throw the word at me. No, let's have a conversation without the word, because you ain't doing what the word say do anyway.
Exactly.
You want to hide behind the word.
Uh-huh.
No, we ain't hiding behind the word. I need to know the truth. What happened to you?
Mm-hmm. The word is to change you, not for you to hide behind it.
No. I want to know what happened to you, because I'm dealing with the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And not just change. I think the word is built to give you instructions too.
Yeah.
How to make that change as well. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. So no, we're not. No, I don't want to hear scripture. I don't want to. No, I need to have a conversation with you.
No.
What happened?
Raw conversation. Yeah.
What happened? What happened to you? What was you going through? What took place? I need to know these things, because now I'm finding myself don't want to talk fearful, right? Don't want to be around too many people, right? Scared of people, right? Scared of my shadow, like I don't want to socialize with people, like I don't want to come outside until it's dark. Mom, Dad, what's wrong? Where all this come from?
Yep. Yeah.
Right?
A perfect movie to describe what you just said was The Shack. The Shack. Of the part where I guess he had flashbacks of his dad, and the little he seen a video of a little boy getting beat. He said, "Would you send him to hell?" And he was like, "Yeah, I will send the father." He said, "No, he's just a little boy." He said, "Well, that little boy is your dad." So the little boy was getting beat, just like you know.
He was getting beat.
You know. So.
The generation, generation.
Yeah, but just like Apostle said, like when are you gonna have that talk? Because if they don't see like there's nothing wrong, and it's 9 times out of 10 as a kid growing up in in an abusive household, they think it's the norm, because they're deep down they think the mom and dad loves them, but deep down their dad is still dealing with pain of their dad, and it's keep going back and sometimes it gets lost in the generation, because we don't know how to confront, we don't know where it came from. So sometimes you gotta take that stand and have the talk, or make that change, say, hey, I'm not gonna do this like my father did, we're gonna go a different route.
Because then we'll end up resenting ourselves. Because then we'll avoid, right, confronting ourselves, right? Because now it's like, okay, where did this fear of failure come from? Like, where did that come from? Where did this fear come from? Like, then I resent myself because of how I look. I resent myself because of now I'm like I don't feel like I'm worth anything, right? Now I feel like I'm an outcast because of how I look and different things like that, right? Where did that come from? Where did that come from? And without confronting that, right, now you'll be in your 30s, 40s, 50s still with that same fear of resenting yourself, because you avoided yourself so long, right? And now you hurt yourself, right, by not confronting that thing, right? Missed opportunities, missed relationships, right? Missed advances and open doors and different things like that, because you avoided it. You avoided yourself. You didn't want to confront that thing, right? Where did that come from, right? So, honesty. It's okay. I think we can start there and end there, because being honest enough to say, hey, you know what? These are some things I got going on about myself that I need to deal with. Right? And again, sometimes we're just products of our environment, sometimes products of what was said to us, products of our parents, in church or not, right? And my God, let's not talk about church hurt and stuff that people still dealing with from church and different things like that, right? And all those things that took root in us.
I think that I think with the topic of hurting hurting me, and church hurt, that's a whole different.
Oh yeah,
Two
yeah.
different things.
Yeah, that's two
Oh,
different
my
things. Yeah,
God.
that's definitely.
That's a whole
Oh,
different.
yeah.
But the church hurt will coincide and fall under this because they don't want to deal with
What happened in
what
the
happened in the, you know.
And not only that, the person that did the hurting
Mhm.
don't want to admit that they
Exactly.
hurt and don't want to apologize and say they hurt you,
Exactly.
right?
Mhm.
Because they'll just shrug it off and brush it off. Oh, you just need to go back down to the altar. No, I don't need to go to the altar. No, we need to have a conversation. This is how I feel.
Mhm.
This is what you did to me, and I think you need to know this,
Mhm.
right? So now that person on the other end, and as a leader myself, you know, I always say, listen, I'm sorry if I said something to offend you or whatever. I'm sorry, right? Because you could very well say something that was a trigger for somebody, or you hurt me when you said that. Well, I didn't mean to. Like, it wasn't intentional, right? But by the same time, if we gonna have this conversation, you ain't gonna hold me hostage either.
Yeah, it also goes to how you deliver the message. I was talking to a customer in Walmart, and we was talking about church hurt,
Yeah.
you know, and he said if I gave you a piece of steak, just throw it through your hands, you know, he said that's a sloppy message. He said, but
Yeah.
if I took the time and put it on the plate, you're gonna talk to me, you know, it's the delivery.
Right.
It's the delivery. Some people have some like. So, because it falls in with this, you know, with the whole concept of where does the, like, you know, lethargic and, you know, and consistency and all that, you know.
Right.
But some people don't want to see that side themselves until someone
Right.
pulls it out of them, and that's when the church hurt comes, because you're not supposed to be telling me that because you're not perfect, you know. That's
Right,
when you start
right,
getting
right.
flaws, you know.
Right,
So
right.
that's the whole different thing, but it falls under this, but it's not. It's
Right.
a
So I'm already damaged,
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
or I'm already hurt,
Mhm.
and I haven't dealt with none of this stuff that has nothing to do with me or you or the next person. And then when you hear something that comes across the pulpit or whatever the case might be, it becomes a trigger,
Yep.
right? And now you feel like, oh, he was talking about me, so
Yep.
I'm out of here.
Yep.
I don't
Talking
even,
about me.
right?
Now
You
see
talking,
how, what I said
right?
earlier, that's where
Right?
Yep.
I don't even know you, bro. I don't know your business like that. I don't know. But it becomes a trigger,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, we don't wait.
Mhm.
We don't wait, right?
We get the whole thing.
To get the whole thing,
We just bolt out.
we just boom,
Yep.
right? So now, okay, now all of a sudden, now we lump the church into this whole dynamic of the church ain't got no love.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, you haven't confronted yourself to deal with your own issues. Because as a pastor, we got our own issues to deal with, right? And that's why I say all the time, we are here because we got issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why we here. We got issues. That's why we here. If not, none of us would nobody be in the church,
Nobody in the doors be closed.
right? But confronting your own issues, confronting yourself sometimes is very, very difficult. One definition and we're going. I know we're over time. I'm sorry, we went over, but however, Kamara can get me later on, okay? One of the definitions is the process of this is confrontation. The process of describing another's behavior so that the person can see the consequences of the behavior and possibly change. If I describe your behavior, Chris, to you, I'm describing your behavior to you so I can change. But the minute I describe your behavior to you, you get an attitude with me.
It's like all my
You know that?
all the years that I was growing up, and I'm the oldest, so all the years that I'm growing up, I kept wondering, where is she? Who's this person?
Mm-hmm.
My mother. Why does she talk like this? Why does she lash out like this? Because it was to a point every year me and her was into a physical fight or cussing each other out. Where's all of this coming from? Then I had to listen. Listen, you're not dealing with your mother. You're dealing with the child who got abused
Right,
when she was 8
right.
and she was 13.
So
and
you're
she was 12.
So you're dealing with that, not that
I'm not
person.
dealing with her.
That's the result of all of that.
Exactly.
That's deep.
So you're not dealing with that person.
Exactly.
You're dealing with everything that she didn't confront and overcome.
And she's still
and deal
holding
with,
it.
and still holding it.
And that's why she lashed out and she talked the way she talked. Because now she has formed a relationship with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has a relationship with her anger. She has a relationship with what her mother did to her and what her father did to her. She has a relationship with it. So now, she's almost 70 years old.
Right.
Oh, I'm not changing.
Yeah, that since you said that, and not even just with like the 8-year-old, because like you and your wife, you can get in an argument. She can have a bad day at work, come home and lash it out at you, but you're not arguing with her. You're arguing because she's mad at the fact that somebody did something to her 5 minutes ago.
It's the incident that took place,
Yes.
and not confronted it there.
That was good.
Right? Yes, Tayana.
We don't have a question, but we have a request. If you can reread the definition again.
The process of describing another person's behavior so that the person can see the consequences of the behavior and possibly change. That is one definition for confrontation.
That was good.
How many people confront themselves?
I don't.
Yeah.
How many people you honestly look in the mirror and confront yourself? Confront who you really going up against. You're going up against that person that you grew up believing you were.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had to confront myself and say, because for years, no one could tell me I was pretty, nothing, because it was so much dirt thrown on top of me.
Right. You didn't believe it.
I still have a hard time.
Yeah.
I still have a hard time.
Yeah.
But it's because of what people put in you. And you don't confront it. I don't sit in front of the mirror and say, oh, I'm doing good, because it only lasts a moment.
Right.
I'll look and be like, oh, it looks good today, and then just that fast it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have that type of issue, because I have it too. Not with like looks wise, but it's just like for example, church made me confront myself, because when I first started coming to church, I was always late. I used to always show up when apostle got done preaching, and then I had to tell myself, yo, Chris, you're always late. But then you're not late to, you weren't late to the liquor store.
Right.
But I kept talking to myself and said, Chris, you got to do better. Then that's when I started,
If more people confronted themselves the way you just said it, like when we were out in the streets, we were always ready to get to the club. We was always ready to get to that next blunt or that next drink or that next this. But then when they get in the house of God, they slow moving. Now, when we was in the streets, we were together. We did everything together.
Yeah.
Oh, meet me at such and such house. And we all came together and did it.
Yeah.
But you get on this side, and 15 emails got to be sent out, or you still don't read the emails, you just leave it linger. Because you ain't confronting. You're not confronting yourself.
Yeah.
You're not confronting that you have a problem with either authority, being on time, or just being in one.
Yeah, confronting.
Or structure.
Yeah. So where did it come from? Why am I so lethargic? Why am I so lackadaisical? Why do I want?
Why does it make you so mad that Apostle got so much structure? What makes you so mad about that? Like, do people ask themselves, why are you so mad because he got structure? Why are you so mad because he does things in the OCD form? Why are you so mad?
So you saying I need therapy now?
Yes.
Right,
Zion?
I ain't gonna lie, I like the way he does it, because I was talking to him last week and going to a different, area. I ain't gonna say it. It was different, but you definitely, you appreciate it more when you go out other places. Not even just other churches. Just work
anywhere.
Exactly.
I tell him all the time, he need to be the boss.
No, not gonna happen. No.
But no, that's a good way that you put it though, of the world versus the church, because you were never late for the liquor store. You're never late for a dice game. You're never late for a party.
Nope. Everybody was together.
Yeah. Yep.
If you said you was wearing blue, everybody else, you didn't even have to call nobody. All you had to do, you said it on Monday. The party wasn't until Friday, but Friday came, everybody had on blue.
Yeah, and you have to pick that out. Now,
exactly.
Let me shut up.
Well, because you didn't have to confront yourself
Yeah.
because again the world of its own and everybody got everything in common, right? But now over here, even though Paul wants us to be one and talks about oneness, right? That's a fight because now in order for us to have oneness, I have to confront myself because if I don't confront myself, then I'm going to treat you some type of way, right? So that becomes an internal battle, right, with the word.
But
Right?
that goes back to you're not reading it.
Well, you have to read it, digest it, and let it deal with you, right? Because if not, then you'll read a whole lot of scriptures. You'll read a whole lot of scriptures, but things that come to challenge you, you avoid it. You'll push it back.
Yeah, because that's your
Right.
everyday lifestyle. Cause
Yeah, you don't want to deal with it. Like, so if I give you a plate, meat, vegetables, potatoes, a well-balanced meal, and I give it to you, you're going to take what you like off that plate and push everything back. And that's the same thing that happens in church,
that's good.
right?
Yeah, that was good.
So,
That was good.
All his little nicks, grannies.
we're way over.
Yeah.
That was a good
Like,
talk.
we're way over. Like, it's one of those deals where I'm going to get in trouble, but I'm like, I feel like me getting in trouble is going to be worth it.
Okay.
Like, Tom is going to, like, Kamara's going to fuss at me, right? And she going and then she goes, sir, right? And then I'm just going to listen to her. And then she gonna get done. I'm gonna say I'm sorry, right? And then I'm gonna be all on my way, right? So that's how that go, right? Man, I'll be good. Yeah, whatever, it is what it is, right? I'm sorry, Kamara, I went over, right? Okay,
That was worth it.
but a topic like this, like there's so many different dynamics to it, to where like you really have to start somewhere to figure out what happened to me or how did I start hurting myself. For me, it was me getting hurt, right? So now I started hurting myself. Now, how did I start hurting myself, right? So for every individual that has an issue with confronting themselves, one, it starts with being honest and open, right? And then, okay, how did I start hurting myself? Because a lot of times we'll look at our life and be like, okay, I haven't accomplished anything, or you feel like you haven't accomplished anything. You feel like you're not worth anything. You have no value, different things like that. So you gotta go back, rewind, and say, okay, where did this all start, right? And from that and from that point on, now you start building. Now you start building, right? So again, thank you everybody for tuning in to another edition of Because You Matter Roundtable Talk. I enjoy these talks because it's for me it's a step in healing every time we have these conversations, and I think also too having that conversation is a start to healing too.
Yeah.
That's part of the healing process, having a conversation, right? But if you don't have that conversation or have a conversation, then you'll walk around and internalize everything and never really get free from anything. You never heal properly. So again, thank you, you guys, for tuning in to another edition of Because You Matter Roundtable Talk. Again, for this month, our topic for this month is Confronting Me, right? Tonight's segment was Hurting Me. Next week will be Avoiding Me. And then the following week after that will be Resenting Me, right? How do we resent ourselves? How do we avoid ourselves, all right? And we covered a lot of ground tonight, and hopefully we laid a solid foundation so everybody else can build off of or build on top of. So
I honestly think that, the resenting me and avoiding me is going to come back to hurting me.
Sure,
All of them.
yeah, absolutely. So again, if you're in the area on Sunday, please stop in 199 North Jew Road here at Deeper Life. We'd be glad to have you. And again, if you have any prayer requests, email us deeperlife3@verizon.net. Or if you have a question you'd like to ask, you can also email us at deeperlife3@verizon.net. Again, it has been my pleasure to be with you guys on tonight.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it. Again, Till next time, God bless, stay safe, and may heaven smile upon you. Thank you, guys.
Really?